Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Podcast. I'm Emily Carter. Thanks for joining me again for episode 2. Today's topic is one that I know frustrates a lot of learners. You can understand English just fine. You follow podcasts, movies, maybe even news reports. But when someone turns to you and says, "So, what do you think?" your mind suddenly goes blank. If that's ever happened to you, trust me, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. This is something almost every language learner goes through. And today, we're going to talk about why it happens and what you can do to fix it. Let me start with a little story. A few years ago, I moved to a new city where I barely knew anyone. I had studied Spanish for 2 years before that, and I felt confident. I watched TV shows, followed YouTube channels, and even read novels. But one day, someone stopped me in a cafe and asked me a simple question. I understood every word, and I still couldn't answer. I just smiled awkwardly and said, until they gave up. That moment stayed with me. It was so uncomfortable, but it also taught me something important. Understanding a language is not the same thing as speaking it. They're different skills, and they need to be trained differently. When we listen to English, we're focused on one thing, input. But when we speak, we have to do everything at once. Think of the idea, find the right words, build the sentence, say it clearly, all in real time. That's a lot. On top of that, most of us are afraid of making mistakes. We hesitate, we correct ourselves mid-sentence, or we stop talking altogether. And even if we know 100 new words, they stay locked inside unless we actually use them. So, how do we change that? How do we move from being silent listeners to confident speakers? One method I always recommend is shadowing. It's exactly what it sounds like, shadowing the voice of a native speaker. Find a short audio clip, just 30 seconds is enough. Listen to the first sentence, pause, and immediately repeat it out loud. Try to match not only the words, but the rhythm and emotion too. For example, if the sentence is, "I can't believe this is happening," don't just repeat the words. Say it with the same surprise or energy that the speaker used. You'll start to notice how your mouth adapts to the flow of real English, and that's powerful. It builds muscle memory and confidence. Another helpful habit is something I call a self-talk journal. Set aside a few minutes each day and just talk out loud about something simple. Maybe your morning routine, what you ate for lunch, or what you plan to do over the weekend. Speak for 2 minutes without stopping. If you can, record yourself. I know it feels awkward at first, but it's incredibly useful. When you listen back, you'll hear your natural rhythm, notice where you hesitate, and catch little mistakes that you can fix tomorrow. It's like a personal feedback loop, and it really works. There's also something I'd love for you to try throughout your day. It's a small change, but it makes a huge difference. Start thinking in English. Don't worry about full sentences at first, just simple thoughts. When you see your coffee cup, think, "This coffee is hot." When you walk outside, say in your head, "The sky is cloudy today." Little by little, start building short stories in your mind. Imagine telling a friend what happened today, but do it silently in English. The more you think in English, the faster your brain gets at forming ideas without translating from your native language. And you don't have to do this alone. If you can, find someone to practice with, a language partner, a tutor, or even another learner like you. Set up short, casual conversations. They don't have to be long or formal. Just 10 minutes talking about your weekend, your favorite food, or the last movie you watched. After each chat, take a moment to reflect. What was easy to say? What words did you forget? What could you say differently next time? The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. The more you speak, the easier it becomes to speak again. Now I want to share a quick story with you. One of my students, Ahmed, had been studying English for years. He could read perfectly and his listening was great, but he never spoke in class. He always said, "I'm just not ready." So we started small. He began with daily self-talk. Then he shadowed TED Talks. After 2 weeks, he sent me a voice message introducing himself. It was short and simple, but it was the first time he'd ever spoken English out loud to someone else. A few weeks later, he joined a live English meetup. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. But he spoke. And that's the point. Speaking doesn't begin with perfect grammar. It begins with courage. So if you're looking to push yourself even more, here's one more idea. Unplugged practice. That means joining an English conversation session, online or in person, without notes, without subtitles, and without scripts. You show up, you listen, and you speak with what you've got. It's uncomfortable, and that's okay. Discomfort is where real growth begins. After the session, write down what you remember. Maybe a word you learned, something funny someone said, or a phrase you want to look up later. Every interaction teaches you something new. So, to wrap up, if you can understand English but still struggle to speak it, know this: you are not stuck. You're just at the edge of your next breakthrough. Try shadowing. Start a self-talk journal. Think in English, practice with someone, and give yourself permission to speak before you're ready. Because you'll never feel ready, but that's how speaking begins. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Speak English Podcast. I'm Emily Carter, and I can't wait to join you again next week when we'll explore how to grow your vocabulary in a fun, natural way without using boring flashcards. Until then, keep going, keep speaking, and remember, your voice matters. See you soon.